guys, welcome to the season 2 of Tales to Testimony. Today we're starting off with our first episode. Thank you for all the love that you showed and waited eagerly for this season to come off. Today our guest for the very first episode is someone who is the founder director of an amazing ministry that's been a blessing to this nation and all around the world. He's a singer, songwriter, pastor, musician, and the list goes on. Help me to please welcome Pastor Sam Alex Pasula.
Thank you, Abdela.
Hi Sam, how are you?
I'm doing good.
How was your day today?
Great. How was yours?
That's good. So you saw that I gave you a brief introduction. So I want to ask you, if you were to introduce yourself, how would you do that?
That was a pretty elaborate introduction, I thought. But if I don't have to be humble, I would probably say everything you said. I would just second what you said. You did a great job. I would just leave it at that.
Thank you so much. So you're ready for the interview?
Yes.
Ready for to answer the questions?
Yes. Come on.
Okay, so let's start from the starting. Tell us, where were you born, to whom you were born, at which place, and all of that. Basically your childhood.
Definitely to my parents.
Thank you, Jesus.
I was actually born in Chennai.
Oh.
A lot of people think I was born in Hyderabad, but I was born in a very, very small town in Chennai. It's called Avadi. That's where I was born. My mom is from Chennai. My dad's from Hyderabad.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was born in Chennai. Grew up all my life in Hyderabad. So just because I was born in Chennai doesn't mean I know Tamil. So don't ask me to speak in Tamil because I really don't.
I was about to do that.
And yeah, but I love Chennai though.
Okay, so I want you to say one line in Tamil. For all the Tamilians who will be like, yes, my brother.
Nalla irukku. I think I said it right. It means I'm doing good.
Okay, if you have to ask them, how are they doing?
Eppadi irukku? I think.
Okay, tell us if it's right or wrong.
I can understand Tamil. I just
Can't
a little
speak
bit.
it.
I can't speak it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's okay. This is pretty much, you were just born and you know that much, so that's sorted. So again, tell me something about your childhood, about your family. How was it?
Yeah. Well, apart from my mom and dad and me, I have two younger sisters. One sister's name is Nisi. The other one is Aksa. We call her Neetu. So Nisi, Neetu. And I go by Neil. That's my nickname. That's what my family calls me. So Neil, Nisi, and Neetu. That's how it is. And my sisters, one is a nurse. The other one, she's still finishing her studies and stuff like that. My dad's a pastor. So shout out to all the PKs. My mom's a lecturer. She's a Telugu language lecturer in a college too. So that's a little bit about my family.
Okay, that I will catch you there. You said your mom is a Tamilian.
Yeah.
And she is a Telugu teacher.
Yep. She teaches Telugu and she does it really good. I don't know how that happened, but she must have special gifts.
Wow, that's great. So how was your childhood like, being a pastor's kid and a lecturer, both like mixed?
I think it was great, but also, I mean, PK's, pastor's kids have its own challenges of being a pastor's son. There's a lot of expectations from everybody to live up to being a pastor's kid. So I hated that part, but I eventually figured out, how to not being crushed by it. But having my mom as a lecturer, she wanted me to learn Telugu really well, but I was worse. Like my Telugu was like, I wouldn't like do so good in Telugu, but yeah, I mean, they got over it eventually. So it was good.
So how was your school days like? Were you a good student, studious, naughty? Were always like the Agyakari Bacha?
I don't know. People in my school days must answer that question. I couldn't be really naughty because of the like I said, expectations of behaving like a pastor's kid, and I hated it for a while because the teachers are like, oh, you being a pastor's kid, you didn't do homework, or you're a pastor. So I hated it, like, honestly. But then, yeah, I was a little silent. I kind of also bullied by a lot of students just because, I'm trying to like, and then try to go the other way around, and it just, I had to like figure it out eventually.
So, you speaking about a lot about pastor's kid. So, you love your dad. You might have learned a lot of things with him. But then the tag comes, and the baggage from the tag comes. Your dad didn't do anything for that to happen to you, but
Right.
like it's the people. So, how did you overcome without like putting it on your dad?
Well, I wouldn't say I didn't put it on my dad.
Okay.
I hated being a pastor's son. I was like, why were you a pastor? Like, why couldn't be something else? Like,
I know, I can feel that.
And I was like, I will never become a pastor when I grow up because I don't want my kids to go through it. And I used to hate it. But I think, as you grow, as you like, start like growing. When I started growing up, I eventually got over it and figured out my way out. Figured a way out.
So, when we are on the parent note and on the note of your parents, just tell us how was one thing that you have learned growing up as a kid that you took from your father and your mother, like separately or at the same time?
And I could tell a lot of things. One thing I still remember as a kid, and I would proudly say that it's because of that I'm doing what I'm doing today, right? I remember my mom always telling me that we have dedicated your life to be a minister of God, and we believed and we pray that you would become. And I remember, every night after I slept, after me and my sister, we would have like this one small room, and everybody would sleep on the floor. I mean, that's the kind of life I grew up with. It was so sweet. I mean, like I still embrace.
you are still
It was like it was just very the small beginnings, right? It's
Yeah.
just so
Humble
beautiful,
beginning.
right? And then we could hear everything. My mom would, dad would talk. I would just act like I would sleep, and then I would, no matter how bad day they would have, they would kneel after we go to bed and they would pray for us. And that's something that I really remember even till today. And it's that prayers that are, really helping me out, to do whatever I'm doing.
Kept you together.
Yeah, and today I'm doing something because they envisioned it way before I even thought of it. I was like, I don't want to become a pastor. I don't want to do anything, right? And then because they believed it, they believed in the vision, they believed in my life more than I did. And that's probably why I'm here. So super grateful.
I will say that is how you faith it, like staying in a small room with 5 people on the same floor or the same bed, and then having the faith, praying it over your children that no, they are for God and they'll do great things for God. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
So good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that
Absolutely.
part. So continuing on the same line of your school, I wanted to ask how good were you in your studies? And also adding to that, I would want to ask, what did you wanted to become as a child?
Well, studies, I was okay. I wasn't bad.
Good.
So just because of the pressure that I had to perform well, in my studies, and I would just do it, but I hated it. And there were times where I wasn't doing great at all. and then coming to what did I want to become as a child? I think I always wanted to pursue music because it was in me. It was like I love music. I remember as a kid, like if I see a bucket or some empty space, I would just make that my drum kit, right? And then I would just bang. I was like, my mom would be talking to people. I would go and hit her back and play drums on her back. She would get so annoyed. So I was really, really, I loved music. So I did want to become a musician, and I think I did.
Yeah, you did. You pretty much did.
Yeah.
So, okay, moving on from school, how was your inter college and all that life?
My inter was great, actually.
Oh, wow.
My inter was great, and my degree was even better because I didn't go to college at all.
Okay.
My
I
degree.
thought you came like first in the country or something.
Well, I realized I was pretty wise also in a way. So my inter was great because I didn't have any expectations from performing as a
Yeah,
pastor's kid,
pastor's kid.
because the inter my college, nobody knew my dad was a pastor, or even if it was, they didn't care. But it was like it's not a problem for them.
Okay.
So that really helped me a lot to like just figure out what I love and what I don't. And I really enjoyed it. I hated
Hate
it.
it.
But then inter, I loved it because I had the freedom. Coming to my studies, I was still okay. I wasn't like the best, I would say. I was more concentrating. I was also concentrating on my music, and I was doing this and that, and I was trying to. If there's anybody I was trying to make happy, was my parents. Like if they're happy, I'm happy, and they don't give me trouble. So I wasn't like trying to. I tried my best to like get both, a good balance between both. Degree was way better because I intentionally applied in a college where attendance is not a huge thing. So I would never go to college. I think I only went like 5 days in the whole year,
Oh,
and I would just go during the
that just for
exams.
exams.
And then I think I enjoyed studying by myself. I realized I was doing way better that way, and I would just like I actually enjoyed studying in degree. I was doing BCom, and I realized I really love business, economics, and not not so much of commerce and accounts and stuff like that. But I did enjoy BCom, so it was natural for me to like gain great score. So I did pass in distinction.
Wow.
So without going to college.
College, yes.
And that's, thank you, Jesus.
But then was it? I believe it was not easy to keep a balance that as a young kid, that not a kid but a teenager, that you're pursuing music and you're also studying and also getting a distinction. How did you get the balance? What was the drive?
Um, I did have to work hard. I couldn't like just do one thing because there's pressure from family. He said, if you can't do this, you can't do that. So I would study for the sake of doing what I really love the most, which is music. So there were times I would, go to the studio in the nights and then go to the college in the morning and do both and try to figure out a good balance between both and stuff like that. And it wasn't easy. It was very
for
tiring,
sure.
but at the same time, it felt like it was worth it. And so much came out of that. I think my career started way early because of me being more intentional about doing what I love. In fact, I wasn't really worried about what my future is going to look like. I was more
Wow.
interested in what I love the most right now, and I wanted to just. I wasn't like, oh, I have to become this. I wasn't even mature enough to think in that tangent. So I was like, why think? My mom would say you should think about future. I was like, I don't know how do I didn't even know how to think about my future. So I know I love music, and I know I love singing, and I just had to like do that, and that's all. And I did and Tere Bina came out when I was like in my 11th grade.
Oh, that's
And
pretty young.
that was pretty young, and I was super excited about it.
So you said that music and this, you were having it from as a kid. You were playing drums around and all of that. I want to ask, where did the interest in music started from? I believe there was some place it came
Right.
to you from.
I think it comes from my dad. My dad, I remember my mom telling, when she was pregnant, my dad would lead this 100-piece choir and stuff like that. And then he would take my mom around for these concerts, and I would get pretty excited in the womb, of course. And then um, when I was growing up, my dad used to sit me down and then used to like teach me songs, and in fact all me and my sisters, and he used to be very strict. He'd be like, you should get this right. And so that's how I think I grew. In fact, the first chord I learned on the guitar was taught by my dad. And
sweet.
yeah, so that's where I would get it. I got it from, I would say.
Thank you, Dad, for being there. Okay. I would ask that you just mentioned about Teri Bina being your first album when you were in 11th grade. So when you did that, you've been like having music running in you since a kid. Were you very confident about your voice, about your music from the beginning that I know I'm good? I'm gonna crack this.
Not really confident, but I was very expectant.
Okay.
I was very hopeful about it.
Oh.
It was like I would get inspired a lot. I would listen. I was like, I think I would just go into this imaginative mode. Like I would like, oh, what would it look like if I did this? What would it look like? I would just have this imagination, and that was the most beautiful thing that I realized. It's like this childlike wonder.
Yeah.
I love that God says, you have to access the kingdom of God, you need to be childlike, right? And I felt that's why I was able to like achieve so much, and because my imagination, I would remember, like, God would make that happen, and it would remind me over and over again, remember, you saw this, you imagined this.
Wow.
That's the power of imagination. So coming back to your question, was I confident? No, I wasn't. I was pretty insecure about my voice.
Oh, is it?
When I was like around 10th grade, my voice hasn't fully matured.
Okay.
And I used to sing like high pitch, like it's called high tenor, if you know, like singing terms and stuff like that. And when I used to sing, I used to sound like a girl because my voice hasn't matured yet. It would be very thin, and people used to make fun of it. People, oh, hey, everybody, girl is in the room. And I was, and people didn't know that they were actually doing that to me. And I felt very,
Did it harm you?
in a way, yes, I would feel something is wrong with me. And then I happened to attend a worship school when in the early days. I actually went there in my 7th grade. I learned keyboard in my 7th grade. It's just a 1-month crash course. It's called ELM, Eternal Life Ministries. It's a praise and worship school, and I learned keys. It really helped me to start pursuing it more efficiently. And then when I was in 10th, I went back to that place. That's where I saw this guy from South Africa
Okay.
singing like a girl. Like, I mean, no, it's funny the way I said it. Like, it's like, and people were loving it.
Oh.
And in the technical terms, it's called falsetto. Falsetto, I don't know if you're not a singer, what it means is like, you sing normally and then you suddenly go into like a female sounding. For example, I did that in Tere Bina because I was so inspired that moment, right? Sukh mein tera, tera. You do that, it's like really pretty. Now it's become a huge thing to do that, right? And back in the day, I was mocked because of sounding like a girl. And then when I saw it, I've gained confidence. No, I can also do this. And then I started embracing my voice. Wow. And it was so helpful for me to like start pursuing my album and my songs and stuff like that. So when I heard his voice, then I started writing music like that. And I was like, oh, you know what? I can use this like him. Oh. And that's how I wrote Tere Bina melody also and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, that's where it all started. I wasn't really secure about my voice. But then I would find inspiration from different people and I would just pursue it. And I didn't really care. Honestly, even now, I think for me, it's not about if this guy likes my voice or that guy likes my voice. For me, it was always about, I like what I'm doing and I'll just do it. You like it, it's up to you. Don't like it, it's up to you.
Good one.
Yeah.
It's so great. So I want to bring a word or a name to you and I want to ask, where is it? What is it? Okay?
Okay. All right.
Okay, so don't have to be scared. I won't ask you such questions. Okay, tell me about what is the last bridge?
Last bridge. So Last Bridge is the band that we started with. We started. I think right now it's about 11 years ago we started Last Bridge, and when we recorded Tere Bina, I wanted to start a band. Like band thing was a huge, like it's a hit back in the like. So I was like, I'm gonna have a band. I'm gonna tour here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. So all excited and formed a band, Last Bridge. The way the name came was really funny. I mean, I was a kid, man. Like I had no idea. Like I was walking I was actually in Mumbai for recording, and then I was going for a metro. And if you are from Mumbai, you know there's like a lot of bridges.
Yeah, it is.
And then I was like already super tired. We had a all night recording, and then we realized. It's hilarious. It's just so funny. It's so cute. It's actually cute to actually talk about it now. And then we're super tired. It's in Kalyan.
Okay.
And then we had to get to the last bridge. And then, oh my gosh, we need to get to the last bridge. And we were doing it while I was just humming some melodies and I was like doing it. And then when we got to the last bridge, I was like, man, it was so easy because we didn't even think about we were singing. It's like, so my songs are gonna transition people to last bridge. And I had like my own theology around it. And it just didn't. But I love how God put the word bridge since the beginning, even in my maturity, even when I didn't know what it meant. It's like, I love that verse. It says, I know the plans I have for you. The plans to prosper you. And I was like, he knows the future. He doesn't have a plan for you. I love that he has plans for you. Like,
good word.
And yeah, was it the exact plan that he had 10 years ago? Probably not, but he still worked with how I roll with it. And then now Bridge Music makes so much sense, and the whole vision is in place, right?
Wow. So we'll come back to Bridge Music again. In between, a lot of people know about Sam Alex is that you went to Bethel. So I want to know how you went. Was it easy for you to going? And like after reaching America, did you become rich overnight? How was your life in Reading? And what changed after Bethel?
Oh wow, that's like a 1-hour sermon, right?
Okay, we don't have that. We'll cut it short.
I'll try. So, I always so there came a point after my degree, right? My dad wanted me to go to seminary, and I was like, no, I don't want to go to a seminary for a certificate. I want to go to a Bible college if I meet God there.
Wow.
I want a real encounter with God. And I've heard so many stories of people who go to Bible college and get more messed up. So I was like, man, God, I came to a point, a crossroads in my life where, God, are you even real? Like, I had to go through that. I'm like, God, is there more to my life than just going and singing and playing music in the church? Is there more to it? Like, or is my relationship just ends here? For me doing stuff for you? Or do you even care about what I'm going through? Do you even care about talking to me? Because there's so many people who say they hear you, but I don't. So are you even interested in my relationship? And I genuinely want to pursue an encounter from God, right? I really was hungry for it. And then, so I was like, and at the same time, I didn't want to lose the music and worship side of things. I was like, I don't want to become a pastor. I was still in that mode.
Pastor, please.
I was like, I don't want to become a pastor and let go of all my musical abilities types. So I was looking for college like Hillsong and then I stumbled upon Bethel. And earlier there was another college that I applied and I got rejected. My visa got rejected. It's in Australia. It's called great college. I tried to apply for that. Didn't happen. I was broken. I was like, because everything looked like it was God's will. In fact, I had I had so many people who were willing to pay and all of that stuff, but my visa didn't come through. So I felt like God was teasing me with favor. Like, God, why would you tease me with favor? And that was actually what inspired me. So I was going through all the colleges and stuff like that. I went through Hillsong. I went through Bethel. I loved Bethel music always. I was like, I would just listen to the music and I was like, love it. And then I opened Bethel if they had a college, and the first thing that popped up was, we owe the world an encounter with God. And that's exactly what I was asking God. Like, I need an encounter, right? And it says we owe the world an encounter with God. But honestly, I didn't have the faith to go to US because you can't work and you need so much money, and it's not easy to get a visa back in the day. And I'm like, oh man, it's not an option now. I didn't even like step out in faith because I was not the same person then, right? So this came to me. I didn't go to, the option came to me. So I was like, man, God is bringing this to me. Maybe this is God's will. So I only pursued because I thought it was God's will, and I went full out, right? I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. And then I realized after spending every penny that my mom and dad saved for my Bible college, I lost my visa. So I lost my money, I lost my visa, and I'm looking like a fool in front of people because I told God is what. And I was like, I was so mad. I was frustrated. I said, God, that morning I locked myself up in the room and I said, I'm not coming out of this room until you encounter me, until I have an encounter with you, until you speak to me. And that morning, something happened. This was like a turning point in my life. I was a Christian, but I wasn't a believer. Like, a lot of people are Christians, right? And like, they believe in the idea of Christ, going to church. But I wasn't really believing in God like I should be, right? And I didn't have a relationship with Him. And I said, I need an encounter. I locked myself up in the room and I started crying. Like, I just started like, something, I don't know, maybe it's the pain. And then peace started coming in. And I got super hungry for the Word of God. Like, and I would just encounter Him. And I realized it was an encounter after I came out of that. But basically, I locked myself in that room that morning, and that encounter lasted for 2 months. I didn't come out of that room. 2 months. I'm not kidding. For some of you, what? I literally forgot. I didn't fast. I forgot eating food. I was so lost in the presence of God. I would do everything that I didn't believe in. Like, I didn't actually believe in prophecy. I didn't actually believe in tongues. I didn't believe in any of these things. In fact, I mocked people who were doing that. But what happened in that room for 2 months, I will never forget it. Because I felt like God was like this. He was sitting with me and we were chatting. And my hunger for the Word of God grew to a point I read like the whole New Testament twice in 2 months. Wow. So I would just like, if I wake up, it's the Word. If I sleep, it's the Word. I am fully focused on Him, right? And that 2 months, I felt like I knew God, but I'd never understood God. But why did you tease me with favor? Like, why show all of this? Why bring to my life? You could have just said no. Like, you could have, and I said, and I felt like the Lord asked me, Sam, why didn't you apply for Bethel? Because I knew deep inside my heart, that was the answer. That was what I was asking God for. Like, God, I need an encounter with you. And Bethel's website was as clear as God's sign. We owe the world an encounter with God. I still have the screenshot of it. I took it and kept it. That's the tagline of BSSM. And I was like, and God's like, but I thought your will was for me to go to. And I said, and also it makes sense because it is a little cheaper and affordable. And God said something, it was like, so you think I'm a cheap God. So you think my will for you is cheap. So you think my will for you is a compromise. And I felt like God says, Sam, I'm not an El Cheapo, I'm an El Shaddai.
Wow.
Like, I am a Father who would pour out heavens and give whatever you ask for. You forgot who you were when you did that. And He said something, he was like, Sam, because you're my son, favor will always follow you. doesn't mean you follow favor. And that shifted my whole perspective. And I was like, oh man, I get it now. Why? I was like, Sam, you wanted to apply for Bethel, but you're afraid. So you went and applied for this. The reason people were pouring out, even if you said yes, if you had said yes to Bethel, right, people would have still come and supported. But then you didn't step out in this. So because you chose, people were backing up. So favor will always back you up because you're my son. And then that moment I decided, you know what, I didn't have anything when I applied for Bethel, and I did it. I got a visa with, actually this might sound weird, but I didn't have a bank account when I applied for Bethel. I was still living off of my dad's bank. So I didn't have a like real bank account. And then I applied and I get my visa just like that. And then I thought, okay, what now? I mean, I could go on forever, but I will tell you this. I wasn't rich. I'll tell one incident. I go there and I crash on some random person's couch because I didn't have a home. And I didn't have enough money to like even survive. I had $300 left in my account, and I had about $4,600 to pay off for my tuition. Otherwise, I had to go home, and I didn't know what to do. And I felt like that actually I spent $100 on food and stuff like that, and I'm left with $200. And I'm thinking, how do I live? How do I go? How do I do everything? And then with that $200, I asked God, what should I do, God, with this? And I felt like, you know, my relationship with God was so close. I could like hear his heart, like, you know, I don't know. This is the thing, you know, some people say I hear his voice, but I feel like I hear his heart. And no, did I say fear?
Here.
I said hear, right? I hear his heart, like, and I was able to hear his heart, and I felt he said, Sam, this is not big enough to be a fruit. A seed is what needs to be sown. Fruit is what needs to be eaten. And I felt like those 200 need to be sown. So I went and I just gave it to somebody that I felt like I should give. And you have no idea what happened. One of my favorite stories is I'm walking. This is how it started at Bethel. Was I rich? Yeah. In my father's eyes, yes, absolutely. I had the most rich father in the world. And
Amen.
The Bible says he will bless you with heavenly riches, you know, yes. Riches in his glory. He will give according to the riches in glory. And I remember just walking after giving that $200 away. What the heck am I going to do? I am in a no man's land. Nobody knows Sam Alex here. There are nobody who could support me. I didn't even have a phone to call and ask anybody. So I'm freaking out. And then this is my favorite story. I'm walking on this bridge called Sundial Bridge. And then this woman, I think she was in her 60s or 70s, I don't know. And then she passes by me and then she comes running back to me. And she goes, are you an Indian? I'm like, haven't you ever seen an Indian? Like, why are you being weird? I said, yes, I'm an Indian. Like, can't you see it's obvious? Right? And then she goes like, is your name Sam by any chance? And I'm like, Tere Bina is not that famous. Like, I mean, I'm sure you would have heard if you did, that would have made my day. Right? But then what's better than that? I said, yes, how do you know my name? And she starts jumping, right? She's getting more excited. I'm confused, like, what's happening? Like, and then she goes, God's been speaking to me in my dreams. I've been seeing you every day since past 1 week in my dream. And I was so annoyed because I've been trying to seek his voice. And I didn't know if this was his voice. I was just my imagination. I didn't know why I was seeing your face. But I would see your face at least once a day.
Crazy.
And God would remind me of your face since last 1 week. And I told God, I don't know if this is a person that I need to meet or do something. And God was like, you need to do something for him, right? If I don't see him today, I'm going to use this for something else. So she had an envelope written. She had an envelope. She's put some money in it. She put $2,000 in it. And she write, to Sam for India. She never met me. She doesn't know who I am. And then she pulls out this cover. I said, if you don't believe me, look at this. And I didn't know. I'm boiling. I'm like, I don't even know what the heck is. I'm praying to myself. I said, God, I hope this is not a dream. I don't want to wake up to this. It's like, I don't want it to be a dream where it's disappointing. I wake up, I'm like, it's not I really felt that, right? And while I'm doing that, she goes, okay, honey, I gotta go. I have to really leave. Bye, take care. And I don't know if it's an angel or a real person. I've never seen her again in my life. And I don't even remember her face. And that $2,000, it didn't stop there. That week, my whole tuition gets paid off overnight by people that I've never met, that I don't know. I don't even know how that happened. So it started there, and I've lived a supernatural life in Reading for the 3 years. Yeah, was I rich? Absolutely yes. I'm not gonna say I was poor. In fact, he never let me be poor, because I knew who was taking care of me. And I remember that verse he gave me before going to Bethel, Deuteronomy 8. He spoke to me so specifically. He said, I'm taking you into a new land. And in that land, you will lack nothing. And you will always have more than enough. Were there times that I didn't have enough? Yes. But then it only encouraged me to believe for more and to believe in the God that I encountered. And I think that's where my whole life just twisted. That's before Bible college, right? This is all in the big. It's not like, I went to Bible college and Sam changed. Yeah, it did help to sustain and to understand my transition in Bethel. But it's not necessarily Bethel that actually changed my life, I think I would still say God changed my life even before I got to Bethel. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, that's a long answer, sorry.
I know, but that was so insightful, and
yeah.
I guess nobody would have thought, people think even for the idea of going from India to America, like some lottery lag gayi hai. But actually with God, every day's lottery lag gayi hai.
Right. And I could talk a lot about what wasn't pretty. But here's the thing, I don't want to talk about what the life did to me, because that's not going to be a testimony. If I want to talk about all the struggles that I went through, I could. But then, man, what I received was way better than the struggles that I got. People talk a lot about the struggles, man, but didn't God meet you at that place?
Yes.
And I would rather talk about what God did in my life than what the life did to me. Yes. Yeah, was it pretty? There was times I was frustrated. I was even having suicidal thoughts. I went through some crazy moments of not having faith, but I felt like when I didn't have faith, I realized He was faithful, and He will always stay faithful. He's not changing. His faithfulness doesn't change according to my faith.
Oof. Word.
Right? It's like, oh, Sam's. A lot of people are like, you need to have faith. You need to have faith. Man, we are humans, and there is grace when you don't have. You just, faith is a gift. Somehow we think we can earn it, and I realized that, God, I don't have enough strength to walk in faith at this moment, and God would just come through and cover me like a mother, like a father. And that was the best.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for covering that and saying that so well and sharing that part and that journey of your life there.
Yep. Thank you.
So I told you that I'll come back to bridge music.
Right.
So I want to know now that how was the transition from the last bridge to the bridge music? And what was the journey like? Also, why the name change?
Right. I mean, when I went to Bethel, last bridge kind of paused. Like, I thought it's over. Like, it's like it's done. I'm past that thing. Um, I don't know what my life is going to look like after coming back from Bethel. So I was like, I think goodbye, last bridge. But the moment I left is when my song started taking more. I was like, God, why you bring it back up now? Types. And then I came back after 3 years, and I just realized, I wrote Vandanam. I'm like, what do I do with this? Should I just keep it to myself? I just want to simply release it, sort of a thing. And then I thought of Last Bridge never made sense to me again. I was like, okay, Last Bridge, the name doesn't make any sense. It looks very immature. So I had to ask myself, if I have to do something, what would I do? And since the beginning of Vandanam, when we changed the name, I was like, hey man, I told all the band guys, I think we should switch from being a band. I think we are more than a band right now. I think I want to start raising up people. I want you to start find musicians and invest in them and empower, mentor people. So we started in that way, and just the vision only kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when we saw how Vandanam did, we weren't expecting Vandanam to go crazy, because we were like, yeah, it's just another song. Because for us, 200,000 views is like, wow. Chance Tujhe still has that much only. So I was like, wow, 200,000 views, right? And it was always about numbers. When I came back from Bethel, that thing changed. Like, I don't care about numbers, anymore. I just want to do this because somebody could get blessed. But anytime I do something, I always do it with excellence. So even though it was like just want to do it, I want to make sure that it was done with excellence. And I really wanted to put some of the tools that I used at Bethel. I've learned so much about even music production and stuff like that in Bethel. So I was super excited to experiment all of that. Another thing I was like, when it comes to the sound of India, the worship sound of India, I felt like it wasn't defined in India. I mean, I'm not trying to it felt like we were trying to copy so many people. Like, say, oh, didn't you just do the same thing? Yes, we are inspired, but at the same time, if you see a worship album, one album will have 10 genres in it. So I was like, I wanted to do something a little different. I want to if you go to US, or if you look at other nations, they have this go to worship sound. But I felt like there wasn't a go to worship sound for Indian worship music. It's oh, if I think about, hey, can you tell what genre is so and so song? They'll be like, I don't know, because there's so much other stuff happening. So I really wanted to take that route and bring the focus back. So we started off like that, and then we wanted to keep it very worship centric rather than performance centric, and there's nothing wrong with performance centric. That has its place also. It's just I wanted to stop. It's just focusing on the youth.
Okay.
Before we started, it was we want to touch the young people, and that's great, some kind of. But when I released Vandanam, I was I wanted to touch every age group possible, and it did it. It's and then we saw the response. We got 1 million views. I'm like, gosh, this is going crazy. And then I had to sit with the Lord and rethink what I want to. And I felt like God say, Sam, the favor that's on your life is not for you; it's for the people around you as well. And not and I was like, how can I use this influence, this million followers? And it was never about this, but now I feel like there are a lot of people who are following and being inspired by what Bridge is doing. What can I do? And that's when the thought came. I want to use this platform, this place to empower other artists. There are so many, and God started sharing again. His heart started becoming more and more real. I'm like, there's so many Davids sitting in their house writing songs, and they've never been heard. It's not about who is big or who is small. It's not even about who's more talented or who's less talented. It's just about there are some Davids that their voices needed to be heard, and that's where the whole bridge music actually came alive after Vandanam is released. Like, I wanted to find artists, not like again, a lot of people, when I say this, right, they start writing to me, hey, how can I be part of bridge music? You can be part of bridge music. That question, I want to just answer that question for everybody who's watching this. You can be part of bridge music by serving and using your talents in your own church. You're still part of that.
Well said.
Right? It's not about just doing it on our channel or your channel. We are all in this collectively together. And if you're supposed to do a song with us, guess what? God will bring us to you. And that's what we believe, and that's how every artist has been approached. It's like I don't think we never said yes to any artist, unless it's just one artist. I don't want to reveal his name. You'll know when he comes out. Apart from one artist, and at the same time, we didn't say yes to him directly. We did a relationship with him. We journeyed with him for a while. I think for a year at least. And then when we had peace with it, that's when we said, we want to do this with you. And it turned out great. So if you're meant to do something with Bridge, you will do it. But at the same time, the way we do things is a little different. We really believe God to highlight people to us. And when He does that, we only go after that. If you're not highlighted, maybe you were supposed to be highlighted somewhere else, and respect that.
True.
And honor that decision from the Lord, right? But again, coming back to just wrapping up the question, how did we come up with the name? It's just that, just the whole why of bridge music changed. The why of bridge music was never songs. A lot of people see the songs. A lot of people see the outcome. But the root was always community. The vision of bridge music changed from writing songs and making good music to building a community of creatives together. A culture of community, accountability, relationships where creatives feel and know that they are taken care of, And that's what we really aim for in everything we do. If you're writing a song, are we doing it from the perspective of community? When we are releasing a song, when we're doing something else, are we still, when we do retreats, it's about community. It's all about community. It's nothing. And what are the songs? Songs are just the overflow of this. It's the byproduct. It's not the root. The fruits, the roots define the fruit, It's not the fruit that defines the root. Yeah.
That's so well said and kept together about Bridge. And I believe that you've been doing so well, Bridge is doing so well in keeping the community, saying it's just been growing, like from Vandanam to season 2, from Sang Tere, Dhanyavad, to going on to season 3 for Chattan, for Desh.
Right.
It's been just growing, and it's been more about community growing with it. So that's wonderful to know.
I mean, I'll say this. I think a lot changed for me when my goal was not success, but growth. If your goal is growth and not success, man, you'll grow so much. You'll grow so much, and there won't be a cap. The problem with success is it caps it off. It's like the moment you think you're successful, there is no growth beyond that.
Yeah.
So you can. One of the things that really helped us is like, I'm not after success. I'm after growth. Yeah.
So we know that how Vandanam took off. It was like fame, and then the season 2 happened. It just grew. It kept growing. So I don't want to talk about the fame, but I want to ask you something that you never expected would come with fame. Like, could be good or bad. What it would be. Also, I would want to know, did you ever expect this movement that is happening in India will come in and through you?
Okay. I'll answer the first part, where what came with fame. I would replace the word fame with favor, right? So, favor is not fair in people's eyes, right? Every time God favors you, The other people was like, that's not fair, God.
Yeah.
Grace is not fair.
Yeah.
So I'll go back to that passage where Jesus is quoting, the guy who gets the same pay. The guy who worked for 1 hour gets the same pay as the guys who work for 10 hours. And all the 9 guys go, this is not fair. So I would like to suggest favor is not fair. But the world likes it to be fair. And so what happens when you have favor? With favor comes rejection. With favor comes things that you don't like. People that are close to you start acting weird around you. And or people who are never close to you wants to be close to you.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of abuse that comes with that. There's a lot of expectations people set on you where like, oh, you should look like this, you should look like that. So I'll just leave it there where I could say a lot of things, but with favor comes a lot of rejection that you need to go through and a lot of boundaries that you had to set. And for me, that was very hard. For people where like with growth comes change as well. For example, like, with the kind of people are not okay with change. Sam, you changed, they say. But isn't change also, doesn't change also mean growth? You're not wearing the same clothes when you were 5 years old.
Yeah.
When you grow up to like a 15, 20-year-old, your size changed, your everything changed according to the growth. So change is good, but people are not okay with change. And when that happens, people think you're proud, you're arrogant, and they step back. But then I can't say yes to everything else. So one of the hardest things that I had to do was set boundaries in my life with people that were very close to me. But again, I realized not everybody can be close to me. Not everybody. I can say yes to you. I can say yes to, like, for example, if I'm saying yes to you right now at this minute, I can only do an interview with you. I can't just pick up my call and talk to 100 people.
Yeah, true.
So in that way, when life gets busy, your boundaries had to be defined, and that was one of the biggest challenges I had. In fact, I say I'll leave it with this. In a way, the amount of rejection determines the amount of favor you can have in your life. The amount of rejection that you can handle determines the amount of favor you can have in your life. How much are you able to, like, if you keep going in the tangent of like, I want to please everybody, I want to please everybody, you will never live in the delight of God.
Yeah.
Because you're the delight of God simply looks like favor. He wants to lavish you with his goodness. He wants to throw a party, no matter how bad. But the thing is, the elder brothers won't like it.
Yeah.
The elder brother got offended because father was celebrating somebody who didn't deserve it. Favor is not deserved, right? So in that sense, can you handle the amount of rejection that comes with favor? And sometimes God doesn't favor you too much to a point where it will kill you. He keeps things away for you, not from you. And he does that so beautifully. And when God favors you, that means he really believes that you should. And at the same time, we reject favor because we are afraid of not pleasing people.
Yeah.
Did I answer everything, or?
So the second part, that did you know that it will something like this in this country or in this world would happen in and through you?
In and through me, I was just available for the Lord, right? I wasn't like, God, you can use me or you don't.
Yeah.
But I'm saying yes to you, and no matter what it takes, no matter what comes through, I will stay faithful to my yes to you. Be it small, be it even if it's seen or not. For me, it was always like that. I was never worried about the outcome or will I be known or not. In fact, I tried to stay away from that. I'll tell you, man, it's scary. Influence is scary because there is a lot more pressure on you for that. So I was like, God, I'd rather stay behind. But then when anointing promotes you, you let it do its job. There is a reason why God promotes you. There's a reason why God makes you feel seen. There's a reason why God puts you on high places, right? And I had to trust God. And the thing is, we say yes to one thing, but when God promotes us, we act really funny and stupid and humble. I'm like, but my yes to God is the same yes if He makes me really famous, if He makes me really influential, my yes still says the same. If He doesn't make me famous, if I'm not doing anything in life, my yes is still at the same place. So it's not about how it looks on the top. It's about are you consistent? Are you constant in your yes to the Lord? So I have to keep saying yes, keep reminding myself yes every day. In fact, like if the day I had to remind, I'm saying yes to you, God, intentionally, and pursue that.
Nice. I guess somewhat my last question of this long interview would be this, that what something that kept you going, and that is the key that you know that will keep you going on. There's a lot of journey that you have to do ahead.
I would say the grace, the revelation of God's grace, man, that is life changing. Because um, I don't know if I could. People use this a lot randomly, God's grace. But do you really mean? Do you know what that actually means? It actually means to lay your self righteousness aside, to stop talking about your own sacrifices, and to stop talking about, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this, and actually constantly live in His grace and to be His beloved rather than trying to love Him more than He loves you. You know that you can never love Him more than He loves you.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You don't know what love is until you are fully His beloved. So I had to, one thing that I try my best, because sometimes we get into this game of self-righteousness and we want to do things for Him, and that's beautiful. That's really beautiful that you want to do things for Him. But if you think you can do better than Him, you probably need to back out. Sometimes we get into this mindset of striving and, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do this, and then really forget to know the person that you're doing it for. For example, if you are in love with somebody, and that's, or for example, if I love somebody and and I'm trying to give them gifts, but she never receives it, and then she just wants to show me how much she loves me, but she never receives my love. How would I feel? I feel like God takes delight, God takes pleasure in loving people.
Yeah.
But are you in the posture of receiving His love? Or are you always trying to like do something for Him? Are you being Marthas who are baking cookies that Jesus never ordered? I love that, Mary was receiving and Martha was trying to give.
Wow, that's word.
And sometimes we just need to sit back and say, God, I want to receive. And if you can just live in that picture of grace, that's grace, right? Grace, it's more harder to not fight than fight. It's very easy to fight. We want to fight for everything. But is it easy for you to let Him fight for you? Is it easy to actually sit back and say, God, I trust you? Sometimes we want to be in control and we want to do things ourselves. And God's like, okay, I'll wait. And He's patient God like that, right? But when you come to Him, you'll really find rest. That's the whole point of grace is come to me and I will give you rest. And if you can walk and live from that place, I feel like we will do way more and our relationship with God would be so strong. And you can love Him back with the love that you receive from Him. I'm not saying don't love Him. I'll be quoted as a
Wrong
cult
profession.
preacher. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can outgive God. And sometimes we need to stop, ask ourselves, am I being self-righteous? If you're talking always about what you do for God, then what He did for you, maybe you need to change the way you think and say, God, am I looking at it from a wrong perspective? Who are you talking more about? Are you more aware of what He is doing for you? Or are you more aware of what you're doing for Him? I think that's my everyday life, right? And that helps me keep going because the pressure is off.
Yeah.
The pressure is off and I can just serve Him. I can love him. I can sit with him. I can do anything with him, and it's beautiful.
It is indeed beautiful. That was so
Yeah.
good.
Wow, that's long answers, guys. Thanks for staying.
Yeah.
All throughout.
You heard so far. The fun part is coming, so stay for that. But thank you for you did made it through all the
All right.
serious questions.
Wow,
Yay.
they stayed through it. Good job, guys.
Great. So are you ready for the fun part?
I think I am. Yes.
So, have you heard of rapid fire? Yeah, you might have done also. So you have to be really quick. You can't answer like you answered. You have to be like this quick. Okay?
All right.
Okay. On like how you do counting for the music one, like quicker
Yeah,
than
after
that.
4.
Yeah, but quicker than that I said. Okay. So your first question is, what will you do if you meet these people from Bible? Like if they walk in from the door like right now, what will be the first reaction or what will you do?
I will like.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you who.
Okay. Oh, you're already.
These people. Okay, first is Moses.
Like, man, how did you lead Israel out of Egypt, bro?
Mary, Jesus' mom.
Oh, that first miracle was super cool.
Judas.
Dude. I'm sorry, man. That's it.
Okay, King Solomon.
I would actually for Judas, I would probably ask, where did you end up, bro? I'm really curious. That's okay. Solomon,
Yeah.
what happened to your wisdom, man?
Okay.
I don't know if that was.
I know. Okay, second question. One rumor that you heard about yourself that gave you the lol moment, like you when Brash laughing like about me.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do rap because that needs memory. I don't remember anything.
Anything? Okay. Skip that. No rumor he has heard that's funny enough. Okay.
Oh, actually, I've heard, but I can't recollect.
Okay.
Yes.
If you were to write Insta bios for these people, what would you write? Okay. First is Pastor Joy.
World changer.
Your mom.
Lover. I don't love. That's the first. She loves me a lot. Right.
Okay.
That's it.
Nimo Nema Kolotangan.
Kulotungan. Listener. I don't know. This
What's
is so hard.
Okay.
I would probably think a lot before
Okay.
writing it.
Alicia.
Alicia, great manager.
That what you will write on an Insta bio.
I don't know.
Great.
She loves people.
Oh, it's okay. Okay. Next, one song that never gets old for you.
Gosh, why do you ask such hard questions, Vandanam?
Okay. Say 2 lines of praise for your sisters. One line for each of them in Hindi.
You
First, go for Nisi.
Oh my gosh, in Hindi, I have to think.
Okay, fast. Something.
Tell me a question I forgot.
You have to say 1 line of anything good about your sister in Hindi.
Both
आप बहुत नहीं अच्छा oh,
निसी बहुत मेहनत करती है.
For the other one?
आप बहुत खूबसूरत है.
It's
Neetu.
for the okay, it's for Neetu. Okay. If I give you 10 million or 1 CR right now, I'm not gonna give you Sam, but if I do, what will be the first thing that you do with it?
Invest and multiply it.
Okay. One restaurant in Hyderabad that never gets old for you.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. You might have to move for this one a little. Okay. 3 worship postures that you are your go-to in your worship movement. Do that right now. 1, 2, and third. Okay. Clearly not worshiping enough to remember that.
Oh,
Yeah, that one.
that
Okay.
for sure.
So this last one, I would have asked you to do this to your dad, but now we're shooting at 1 a.m. in the night. So I was gonna call your dad up and say you love him, but your dad is in dreamland, and that would be so wrong to him. But call anybody. You just have to say I love you and cut the call. Call anybody. Maybe the first person on your chat. Or
What if they don't pick up?
We'll see if they love you back. Quick.
I'm
Anybody.
calling you. It's just okay.
iPhone. Okay.
Is it ringing?
Put on speaker.
Wait, hold on. It's not ringing. Okay.
Okay. Ring 2. Ring 3.
They're too busy to hear that.
Who is it? You called the wrong person from the wrong time zone.
Bro.
It's Nemaya Kolutangan. You didn't pick up Sam.
You
Alex's call.
better pick up, bro.
Oh, I guess he won't. Okay, next person.
Next person.
Yeah. Okay, this has to be a person you know.
I'm
Nobody's
like, of
picking
course,
up your
like, no,
call.
it's 1 a.m. What do you think, people? Oh gosh, they'll be like, what happened to you? Why are you? Fuck off, Penny.
Okay. I don't know what time is it in UK, but people of UK are getting calls from Sam Alex.
A few moments later.
Doesn't pick it.
Nobody cares.
See, that's welcome to real life, guys.
This is how it happens.
I'm just trying to love on somebody. It's just not happening.
Oh my Jesus. Okay, I'll give you one last chance to call somebody. If they don't pick, I'll just assume that nobody wants to hear I love you from you.
I'll probably just call somebody that I know will pick up.
Who is it this time?
Oh, you'll see.
He might just walk out and come.
What?
One eternity later.
Look at this.
Okay, we're done. Nobody wants to receive your calls, please.
Bro, come on.
Even the people who are in this house. don't
Please pick up. Are you hearing?
Okay, done. We're running out of time.
I'm
Nobody
so
picks.
disappointed here. People just don't want to receive love.
Okay, so the next thing, you've done kind of well with the rapid fire apart from the last thing.
Oh, wow.
So now this
That's
is like
not
a
me. That's some people.
so this is like a blast from the past. That's something that you put sometime in social media. These are your pictures. You can tell what was in your mind. Why did you do that? People, you'll get somewhere the insert of what picture he's reacting to. Okay, ready? Okay, so the picture number 1 is this.
Oh, that's easy. That's my first profile DP for my student thing at Bethel. That's my first year. They clicked it.
Okay, so the next.
I like it. Oh.
Tell me about this.
That was called. That's a place in California. It's called Bernie Falls. It's a beautiful place.
And why are you sitting like
And the guy who was taking the picture, his name is Guy West. We stayed with him. He asked me to pose, and I did.
Okay, let's blame it on him.
Yeah.
You want to wear your specs real quick?
Yeah, I think I'm just seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is better. Yeah.
Next.
Oh, I was just like, that was my graduation, first year graduation.
First year graduation.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Reading.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
Okay. Now, what is all this
Oh,
about? When did you
this
turn
one.
a Mallu?
It's not a malu. Basically, this was we have something called Festival of Cultures in India. Sorry, not in India.
Yeah, we do have.
Yes, we do have in Bethel, and we were supposed to like do some dance. So that's the costume that they gave us.
Okay. This.
Bonnie Bray House. Oh my gosh, that was a very, very special moment. I don't know if you heard about Azusa Now revival. That revival started in that house, and we all went to mission trip, and I got to like just experience and just see, and got to know a lot of history of how the revival started. It was beautiful.
Okay. Next picture. What is this? Why is this? What was on your mind?
I was just imagining myself as Batman. If Indian was a Batman, how would he look? I was just trying to be cool because There was one, I visited a family and the kid really liked it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll post it.
Okay, cool.
I think it looks great. I mean, I really like.
Okay, tell
that's-
in the comments if you like it. Or
I think that's a really cool look for a Batman.
Okay, sure.
A Batman with a beard. Have you ever thought of it? That's a great
Okay, can we move on to next?
Yes.
Tell me, what is this about? Why that face?
Oh yeah, I just didn't know how to make funny faces, so I just do all those weird faces. But that was in Disneyland in LA. If you can see Tarzan, Tarzan. Behind, we were just trying to get a picture with him, you know.
Okay, not the real one, guys.
Not the
You'll
real.
see in the picture. Yeah. Okay, next. What is this about?
Live Out Loud. This was in Hyderabad. We played in school. That's the band. It was a fun time.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, tell me
It's
about this.
BFT tour. It's Break Free tour. It was really fun. Doing that.
Nice. So moving on, the next video. Which is a little emotional.
That was the best moment. So that was Bill and Chris commissioning us in second year, after our second year. And it's crazy that what Chris prophesied, I could see it in fruition right now. It was like he said, I see you raising a generation and a sound that is going to rise from you that will impact the whole nation. And I could testify. I think I'm living it out.
Yay. Okay, let's move on to the last picture, which I absolutely love.
Okay.
And tell me about this one.
That's...
It's not the last picture, sorry, got it wrong.
Oh my God,
Second last.
that's very special because that's my grandmother. We were very close. I used to call her my girlfriend. Honestly, I don't know if it sounds weird. Like I would just sleep, beside her, even till like the last, even until the last time that I had with her. But then it was very hard for me when she passed away. She passed away when I was on a mission trip. Didn't even get to say goodbye while she was in the hospital. It was so sudden. But I just cherish all my moments with her. Miss her a lot. But she was a very special person.
She looks like one.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the last picture, which I love.
That's on my mom's birthday. We all went. That's my family, by the way, guys. That's my two sisters, my mom, and my dad. We had a really fun day. This was like, I think last year. No, last year. And it was just, I just love spending time with my family outside. We enjoy that.
Wow, that was so nice. How was the feeling going through those pictures?
It was good. I felt like I was going down on the memory lane. That was nice.
So sweet. So are you ready for the last part of it?
Yes.
These are the assumptions that people send in for you and about you. So you don't have to explain. You don't have to give any explanation to anybody. But you have to just say, is it true or not? Yes or no.
Okay.
That's it. Pretty
Okay.
cool? Chill?
Sweet.
Ready? Okay, first, he has a lot of attitude. Maybe bad attitude. Yes or no?
No.
Okay. He's in a relationship.
No.
He is the most funniest one in the group.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'd like to be at least.
Okay. He's extremely patient and calm individual.
This is like humility or test or what? Yes.
Yes. He's very strict and serious.
Sometimes.
Yes or no?
That's, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Sam only likes biryani.
Yes.
Oh, he looks silent but cracks very good jokes.
Yes.
He laughs at any joke.
No.
Okay. Last assumption about you. He's a Tamilian.
Well,
Yes or no, Sam?
yes. No. No, I'm not a Tamilian, no.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sam.
Is that
That's
it?
it.
Oh,
Thank you
wow.
for doing
Thank you.
this with me for
Absolutely.
the channel.
It was fun.
It was great. It was
Yes.
so much of fun, so much of things to learn from you. I take back so much from today's interview. Is there anything that you want to say before we close?
Oh, just thanks for staying throughout.
Yes.
I hope this was helpful. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining in. This is Tales to Testimony, where we bring real human, real hearts and real story. God bless you. I'll see you next time.